Welcome to creating a sheet in Dynamo using Python. I've transitioned from using the IDE from Dynamo to using the community version of Visual Studio 2017. So the first thing we want to do is we want to import this CLR and go ahead and add our reference to the nodes. And then we want to import Revit. The next part we want to do here is bring in the extension and bring all of the elements that Revit has. We'll go ahead and add another reference here, and we'll import the Revit services, which is the document, and we'll go ahead and import Revit services from the reference. And the next thing we'll do is we'll add the API, and from Autodesk Revit, and we'll get the database, and we'll import star, which means everything, from Autodesk. And the very last thing is we'll grab our systems. From the Revit service, we want to get the persistent, and we want to import the document manager, and we also want to get the Revit service transaction, and we want to import the transaction manager. The next thing we want to do is get the document through document services, which we got through the document manager. And we'll go ahead and get the document. It is the instance of the current database document, and we'll send it to the DOC or the doc. And this is what will be in our node. So we'll get an in, and the first in will be a 0. It'll be our sheet name. We'll get a second thing coming in, and the second item will be a 1, and that'll be the sheet number. The next thing we'll do is we'll get the family type, which is an element, and we'll have to unwrap it in order for Python to do something with it. So we'll type in unwrap the element, and then inside the unwrap we will put in the what's coming in, which will be the second thing in our list, or the second thing in the Python script. We'll go ahead and create an empty sheet list from a list, and we'll start our handshake with Revit to tell it what we want it to do, which is our transaction. So we'll go into Transaction Manager. And we'll get an instance. We'll ensure the instance. And then we'll send in our current document. So here's where we actually do the action that we want. So for every number, which will be the index number in the range of the length, so this is going to iterate over our list of sheet numbers. So we're iterating over, and we're grabbing the index number, and then we'll go ahead and get a new sheet, and we'll create a view sheet, which is actually the sheet itself, and then we'll create, and we'll send it into this current document. We'll get the title block, and we need it needs an element ID, so it's a title block dot element ID. Now the new sheet can actually get its name. And we'll get the index number of the first sheet name in the list that was sent in from Dynamo. Same with the sheet number. We will get the first sheet number from the index and then move to the next one until it hits the length of the user input of the sheet numbers in that range. So I'll append the list that I have and add the new sheet to send out through my Dynamo node in case I want to do additional things to the sheet. The very last thing that we need to do is close off our transaction manager, and we'll go ahead and send the instance, and then we'll say that the transaction task is done. And then we'll go ahead and send out the sheet that we just generated in case we'd like to add additional parameters or do something else in Dynamo. I know there's a node for this exact same function in Dynamo, but it's important for us who we're trying to learn to understand how the API functions with the Dynamo. So I just copy and paste that there. I have my two lists, my family type, and I go ahead and run it and generate my two sheets. Anyways, that's creating a sheet with Dynamo Python. Thank you for watching.